Pain doesn't break people. Having no meaning does. Most people think pain is something to get over. Well, I think pain is something to ordinate by. This video isn't about motivation, it's about direction. If you ever hit a setback and immediately thought, hey, something's wrong with me, I don't think this is the right path for me, and this video is for you. Most people feel reactive, lost, quietly ashamed after a setback because they assume pain equals failure instead of feedback. If you've ever been trying to escape discomfort, prove something, force motivation after a setback, this video will entirely change how you see pain. Pain isn't something to motivate you. Pain is something to educate you. Purpose doesn't come from feeling inspired. Purpose comes from choosing orientation when things stop feeling good. We're going to go over 4 things today. Number 1, pain as a signal, not a verdict. Number 2, the separation between misused pain and integrated pain. Number 3, a simple pipeline that turns pain into direction. And number 4, turning and understanding how purpose is a near-term, future-orientated goal that in the present creates a scaffolding mechanism that allows you to reach that destiny that you define. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's get started with this. So first, pain is a signal, not a verdict. And most people think pain means something went wrong. They think that they failed. They chose the wrong path, as mentioned. And I don't think pain means you're broken. I think pain means your system is asking for a direction. Pain is not damage. Pain is information. That's why right here I got this little example of a data set, right? And how pain is nothing but data that we collect, and it allows us to fine-tune our behaviors. You can think of AI, for example, how AI learns by reinforcement, learning by making mistakes and then reinforcing a better behavior so that it can reach the reward. We have this innate ability as well, and this allows us to refine ourselves. That's why if you think monkeys or apes, when they have a reward in front of them, they can quickly learn the reward and get the reward pretty quickly and learn. But if you were to not have something to accomplish right away, like what I mean is that if you were to have a task in front of them and the task takes 5 minutes in order for them to get the reward, they won't be able to compute that as much as humans can, because we have this ability to have delayed gratification. This is why, like, when we are able to continue to learn from our mistakes, we just become this machine of learning capabilities, right? That's exactly this whole first topic would be about, right? So I want to also bring up that there's a difference between pleasure and meaning. Pleasure asks, does this feel good right now? Meaning asks, is this worth carrying forward? Pain becomes unbearable when it has no meaning. The same pain becomes tolerable, even strengthening, when it points somewhere. This is where you connect the modern life dilemma right now, that we live in a world optimized for pleasure, fast dopamine, short rewards, endless distraction. But pleasure doesn't stabilize you after setbacks. Meaning does. And it's hard in this day and age that, there's common confusions that we have, that purpose means passion. No, it doesn't. It's passion fluctuates, purpose endures. Passion doesn't equal meaning. Purpose is the future aim dimension of meaning, not the whole thing. And purpose doesn't equal values. Values are the compass, and purpose is the route. So there's no more myths that we have this one true purpose, and we don't have one true definition of life. It's just that we find this through our pain, through these signals, through these data sets, through our ability to go back in time and face that uncomfortability that we are turning a blind spot to. And yes, once you find your purpose, it becomes easy. Actually, it doesn't. It really becomes chosen suffering. And chosen suffering is that you are suffering with a privilege now. You're suffering for something that is worthwhile now, and that is powerful, right? So now I would like to bring up the definition of purpose a little bit more clear, but just before I can do that, I want to talk about the development of purpose and how we start with mimicry. That as a kid, we inherit values and this scaffolding of principles and what type of goals we want. Like, as a kid, you may really pursue school very well because your parents will be proud, and that's the mimicry. But also the little things your parents do or someone very close to you, and you start to copy that, right? But then you go through this, and that's what we're trying to go through over this playbook, the self-discovery, really bringing down all the like layers that like that block the real foundation that allows you to learn and implement what you really need to grow from. So that self-discovery is so valuable and so important, and I think is a gem of a time to spend to really gain the immense value that you can from this area. But then eventually we start committing to it, and commitment is not like just, oh wow, I'm committed, I'm like, it's locked in, right? No, it takes time. It does take setbacks. It does take doubt. It does take uncertainty, but that commitment starts building, and then once you get that commitment, you get that consistency and that loyalty around the whole structure that I will follow this purpose, and then legacy follows you. So now the definition is really a dynamic, values aligned, other impacting life aim that organizes your goals and actions over time. That's exactly, the best definition of it. And then I wanted to mention that purpose scaffolds systems, values, goals, and actions organized in clarity of direction in life. So that's really it, right? And it's like, you can picture a building, right? A building is being constructed. While that building is being constructed, that is the route, it's a skyscraper, it's a route going up and up and up. But as you continue to build, you have to start putting like barriers around it, that is like scaffolding to hold it together. And that's exactly what the values and goals does for purpose. So breaking purpose in a very simple structure is really direction, a long-term aim, action, a commitment plus behavior, and then the significance. It matters beyond you. So now we get to the existential vacuum, which is basically, in simple terms, when people lose direction, they don't feel less pain. Actually, they feel everything more intensely. Small setbacks feel catastrophic, motivation collapse, shame shows up, not because the pain is big, but because there's no why holding it. What that really means is that once that compass shakes, and that pain and the setbacks come, when you don't have a why and you don't have, like, basically, in simple, a purpose, guess what? You may be able to get through it, but the burnout and that setback will get larger next time. That's why I like to just put it in this really simple metaphor, is that before a compass settles, it shakes. If you didn't know what a compass was, you think it was just broken. But pain is that shake. It needs to calibrate before it gets that clear direction. So then I also wanted to bring up this really important just analogy, that the dungeon is where we spend our time in that. If I go back to that self-discovery, is going through that dungeon, going through that uncomfortability. And David Goggins said this so well in Alex Huberman podcast, that we spend a lot of time in that dungeon, opening the cupboards and like really going through the pain and the traumas and everything that we just put ourselves away. And of course we're gonna have labels being like, yeah, no, it's fine, like that happened, but I'm over it. It's not truly resolved. You just put a label to protect yourself, and that's your brain doing its natural protective mechanisms to avoid yourself really feeling what you need to feel. And that catharsis allows that structure to be developed, so then you can really be moving with exponential speeds instead of linear speeds. And that's what the dungeon does. It's uncomfortable, but that's really where the purpose will shape itself, because you start to have more clarity and more understanding of what you really want, right? So now we're gonna get to point 2, which is misused pain versus integrated pain. And really, it's that pain creates energy. The problem isn't pain, the problem is how people aim it, right? And that's a really, really important thing, because we could either have ego purpose or chosen purpose. And basically, I wrote it down here as, we'll look at ego purpose. Like, it sounds like I'll prove them wrong, I can't feel this again, I must win to be a whole. It creates intensity, but it also creates fragility, right? Because the thing here is that like, your nervous system stays activated during all this time. And from a science perspective, it's basically you balance between a parasympathetic and sympathetic, right? So when we're in flight or fright stage, we find ourselves being like using more energy, but keeping our brain in this like worried, more a scarcity mindset of like, okay, what's gonna happen and this and that, right? These words like, I'll prove them wrong, is short term, and really it's burnout isn't just a possibility, it's the endpoint for this mindset, right? This ego purpose. It looks like discipline, but it's actually just panic with the structure, right? So it doesn't survive, and it's not sustainable. But more importantly, I think it's still a necessarily important element in its whole journey, because once we do go through ego purpose and we do have a hit to our ego purpose, we start to really have these conflicts with ourselves, which are natural but needed in order to be like, okay, you know what? My whole life, I've been only trying to avoid that pain. I've been only trying to, prove them wrong, and I'm just tired of that, and I don't understand why I'm doing that. And then you start asking these questions, and those questions are very profound and very meaningful in order to get to the chosen purpose, where it sounds really like, this relieved the weakness, this showed me what actually matters, I need a cleaner path, not a louder one. And it's really just like, integrated pain doesn't make you louder, it makes you steadier, right? It's sustainability. And chosen purpose is supposed to be slow, it's supposed to feel slow, it's not supposed to feel wild and loud. It's just simply like, you're in it and you're doing a consistent amount of behavior each day, that the results are compounding. But yes, they don't show themselves right away, but you have that supreme patience for the results, but you are extremely impatient with the actions, right? So that's what's happening on a daily basis. For a personal example, I took a setback. That's why this video was delayed. It was just because I was trading well for 2.5 months, and I simply kept a blind eye to how powerful shame can get, and the complacency behind that, of my own protocols around that. So instead of reducing the net amount of shame, I strengthened it and I fed it by allowing myself to beat myself over the mistake. And I allowed these misused pain, like, oh, this is all my fault, and like, this is like completely just stupid, right? Like, those words, those labelings allowed me to push myself deeper in the hole, which led to a tilt after a very long period of time. And it was a major setback, which I needed to reflect and create new protocols. But I now look back, and like, the moment it happened, I've built this purpose that even with these setbacks, they make me stronger. They feed a direction more clearer, because I gain more information, and that's the pain is a signal, and that it contains data that is nuggets that can help me move forward, right? So now I'll just leave it with this, is that like, meaning doesn't come from relieving pain, it comes from structuring it. And catharsis feels good, and I don't discourage it. You should spend time feeling your emotions, but that structure makes you stable, and the structure comes out from that catharsis, but also from that ability to be like, okay, I did that again, I don't know why I'm doing it, keep on saying these words specifically after I do it, and I want to change that. And to change that, I'm gonna put structure around it. And now, instead of being like, oh, I keep eating this food after I get to work, I'm going to now keep it in a certain area and leave it as a reward, and build a system, the structure around it. And that starts to integrate that misused pain, that, oh, I keep on eating, to now integrated pain of, okay, this was a mistake, and now I have this structure to support it now. Okay, now we get to point 3, and purpose creates calm in uncertainty. This is important because uncertainty is really underestimated. It's underrated. Like, we live in a world that that now makes certainty feel like a transaction, like something that just we all have a luxury to have, but it makes us limited. It makes us not able to accept when things hit the rotor, or when things go wrong, and it makes us just less powerful in those dark times. And that's why this point is very important. And to really keep this concise but powerful, it's really just like this. Like, passion is emotional weather, and purpose is the heading. Like, purpose is not passion. Passion will fluctuate, and we will have uncertainty events, but purpose is the heading. And that's why even during the times Nazis started doing the concentration camps, the ones who had a meaning that allowed them to have a future aim, they were able to survive much better than the ones who just simply accepted that this is like an uncertain time, I'm screwed, and this is the end, right? And it just shows, because this is well documented as well, that once we have a purpose, even though the uncertainty of right now does not at all tell us that it's going to be fine, but kind of being a little bit delusional that in the near aim of the future, it will be better and it will work out. So now I'll introduce the pipeline, the 3-stage pain pipeline, that really it's all in this diagram. It's really that pain as a signal, and then pain as a filter, and pain as a fuel, which is used sparsely. But basically, pain as a signal, you have to ask yourself these questions: what boundary did I violate? What illusion broke? What did this cost me? Pain often shows you where you were lying to yourself, gently or not. Like I said, it's really that data, right? It's the data behind it, and it allows you, like, when you feel pain towards something and you're like, okay, this feels wrong, it actually could be related to your identity, right? Like, you're like, okay, I stayed up really late and I had a test tomorrow, and that was dumb because I was playing games, right? And that was a boundary you violated, and that you felt pain the next day over that, right? Which is guilt. But like, when you start just understanding that all this is like basically just pain receptors of how we felt, could be guilt, could be this, could be that, but when we are able to understand that it's all the same, that all that can lead to the same outcome of, we're gonna get knowledge from that, and a signal that allows us to improve, right? So then pain as a filter, pain removes fake goals, ego timelines, external validation, and what survives pain is usually what matters. And basically what this means is that we are having this ability to see clear now, when we are able to really like look into, okay, this is what pain did to me, and I had all these goals, which I'm like, no, wait, I just realized now that's what my parents wanted, I don't even want a degree. Like, you start to understand these things, right? And you put all these timelines, like, pain removes the filter. Like, when I say the layers, I'm referencing this again, but the layers is like when you go through the dungeon and you break the cupboards open and you go through all the nonsense, all the pain, all the frustrations, all the traumas, you start to remove the layers that actually have the foundation, where you have the real really what the real meaning of what matters to you, right? So pain as a fuel, this is not should be used so much, but basically it's just that fuel doesn't mean grinding harder. It just means choosing difficulty intentionally. That's the chosen suffering, right? Purpose doesn't make life easy. It makes uncertainty tolerable. This is the emotional payoff. Like if you think about it, like all hard things in life, like joining the NBA or becoming a trader or becoming an entrepreneur or like becoming a doctor, all this has an emotional payoff. You have to go through sleepless nights, you gotta have energy drinks powering through the night, you gotta like choose not going to the club, staying at home, you gotta choose to say no to your friend and sit at home like in your bed at 9 p.m. Those are the emotional payoffs that literally compound faster than any trade can do in the stock market. Like this is the investment on you, and that investment is, I think, the best investment you can make, right? So now we'll get to I would like to call this the dark section a little bit, just because it's a little bit like purpose is very powerful, but there is some risk management that we need to apply to it. As a trader, I gotta add some risk management, right? So burnout, when purpose grows faster than capacity, this can happen. And like basically when motivation drives us, we tend to have this problem where we are so motivated, we're pushing, but the purpose doesn't reach the capacity and we lead to a burnout. And that's why sustainability and the chosen purpose is slower, instead of the misused pain or the ego purpose, right? And next is perfectionist trap, attaching worth to output. Me personally, I was a very, very strong victim to this for like majority of my life. Honestly, I really tied my results to the output, and it led me to just treat myself very poorly. But now I've been able to realize that, because I understand that was a filter that I had, right? And now I can see clearly now because it's removed, and I now have the foundation, right? So purpose as avoidance, using mission productivity to dodge emotions and relationships. This is also a very common thing. This can be seen as, you probably know someone in your life who's really hardworking, always works late at like to 9-12 hours, gets home, and like that's beautiful, like they're working hard, but sometimes it's really just them avoiding boredom, silence with himself, or like the uncomfortability conversations that could come up, or it's just an escape, right? And avoidance is very powerful because it's very subtle, and it can also appear productively, and it could also be just a huge blind spot. And sometimes I have to just pause and just be like, okay, what am I avoiding right now? And it happens a lot. It's a very common thing, and it's just about being one step ahead. And that's why coming back to this framework of all this, it allows you to be like, okay, this is what I've been avoiding, and this is why, and this is what I feel about it, and this is the structure I'm going to make, right? So then purpose is morally neutral. This is a really, really important one, because purpose, you have to think, like, there's been a lot of people in this world who had a history of shaping a purpose that was very extreme. Like we need to have the neutrality of greatness in the purpose, right? So lastly, I'll really like to put into the 80-20. What's like what will be that 20% of things that give you 80% of the results? And I just put in a 6 list. Basically, it's a light operating cadence for purpose. Really just get curious with yourself without judging, non-judgment mindset. Instead of being like, okay, yesterday I didn't want to exercise because I was just like not feeling it, and I feel so bad about it. I feel like, oh, I'm so lazy, I can't do anything. Stop. That's self-harm, that's judging. Stop that, right? How you should really be talking to yourself is just, okay, why did I do that? Maybe my time schedule is too tight. Maybe I'm not having good time management. Maybe it seems too daunting, and I could start with a smaller ripple habit and treat your life as an experiment. Like this is nothing but just trying new things, experimenting with new solutions, and understanding. Okay, does this work? Does that work? Is this resulting in good habits? I like to do this. One thing is that I will do a habit for 30 days, and at the end of 30 days, I'll pause and reevaluate and write it down and understand. Okay, did I like it? Did it help me? And even if it did help me, I have to still take a break and just understand, did it help? And I find this really powerful because it also can show some revealing characteristics about compulsion, which is also another important thing. Then integrate struggles into your story. This is just basically, this is the gratitude and really kind of shaping how to tell a story about yourself, which is powerful because you can start to now appreciate your journey a lot more, which allows you to then, when a bad time happens, you're like, I've been through a lot worse. I'm more powerful now, and I can get through this because I built a mindset that can help me now, for example. So, and then do one hard thing daily. If you're feeling ambitious, do 2-3. If you're feeling light, maybe just start one hard thing a week, but just start getting your feet wet about this and just like get into it, because that one hard thing is literally training your brain to start doing that. And it's all about training, right? So, and shift I have to I get to. This is again chosen suffering. Like, instead of oh god, I have to edit this video after this, right? Or I have to like make sure that there's no copyright, like blah blah blah, right? No, I get to do this because I enjoy doing this and I want to help people. And yes, I have to pay a price in order to help people, but that price is worthwhile, right? That's basically it. And it ties all the way back to the action, which is basically the purpose OS. It's a simple, I just want to leave you with action. If this is really powerful, can really help you. This isn't journaling, this is just an installation that you can start doing today, right now, after this. It's basically it's not a goal, but it's a rule of engagement, engaging with yourself. Like, remember how I was saying that let's spend more time understanding the dungeon, understanding like what's in the cupboards, all this, right? And this allows you to really do that. This is the engagement, and I really encourage this. And you can always add to it. If anything, send a comment. I can add more to this because I really want to keep it light, but it's a lot more that you can get from this one little one little prompt. It's just, do not journal endlessly, do not relive the story. This is about clarity, not catharsis. You're just gonna answer these questions and just start seeing patterns, start understanding it. Okay, that's basically it. And we get right back to pain is a signal, not a verdict. And that's basically it in a little like circular, not really. I tried to make it circular, but I also want to say that if anyone wants this, I can definitely get this as a PDF, and it could help you with your own trajectory forward. All right, now let's tie it all back together. You don't need to escape pain anymore. You just need to stop misinterpreting it. If pain meant you were broken, guess what? Growth wouldn't exist, right? So purpose doesn't remove pain, it makes it worth carrying. And in the next episode, what we're gonna really do is get all this clarity into structure and use journaling and tools such as AI to help us use this clarity and move forward. So episode 3, this was all about clarity. Episode 3 will be really about the tools, the systems, and the journaling behind it. So if I were to leave you with this one thing, it would be that pain creates energy, pain decides where it goes. And I think this episode is really important because it frames that future meaning thinking now, and that's what we need upcoming now. So that's basically this episode, and I hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe, comment if you feel anything that you enjoyed about it, disliked about it. I would love to hear. And thanks for watching. Take care.